Over the weekend, I noticed some major signs. And these signs told me November is going to be a blowout. I cracked open the New York Times on Sunday. It said Republicans are running away with it, making huge gains with Hispanics, blacks, and independent women. Independent women are falling for Republicans like they're in love. A 32-point swing in a month. I love me some independent women. Want another sign? Barack Obama is on tour, calling Democrats a bunch of buzzkills.
There were times where I'd get, sound like I was given a bunch of policy gobbledygook. And that's not how people think about these issues. They think about them in terms of, the life I'm leading day to day. How does politics how is it even relevant to, the things that I care most deeply about? My family, my kids, work that gives me satisfaction, having fun, not being a buzzkill, right?
That's a lesson for the Democratic
Party. Yeah, and sometimes Democrats are, right? It's like, sometimes, people just want to not feel as if they are walking on eggshells.
Barack's right, but for the wrong reasons. He knows woke losers will get walloped in November, and he's putting some distance between himself and the buzzkills so he can say, see, told you so. Should have listened to Barry. Identity politics is what got Obama elected in the first place, and it's what gave us Trump. So now the former president doesn't want to be left holding the check again. Obama's even telling libs to stop talking about Trump.
We spend enormous amounts of time and energy and resources pointing out the latest crazy thing he said, or how rude or mean some of these Republican candidates behaved. That's probably not something that in the minds of most voters overrides their basic interests. Can I pay the rent? What are gas prices? How am I dealing with child care?
I get the feeling Barack's not a fan of Biden's ultra MAGA slam. Obama's telling Democrats to focus on the kitchen table, not Twitter. Obama's saying stop talking about January 6th and talk about what you're going to do about $6 gas. But this is Obama come lately. Where was he when they were tearing down the statues? Where was he when they were pushing CRT? Where was he for 2 years when prices were climbing? He was nowhere. He was shanking drives and rolling his eyes. What good is this advice a month before the midterms anyway? But he did warn us about Joe, though, didn't he? Never underestimate Joe's ability to F things up. Even Joe can read the signs. What did he do today on a Monday, 3 weeks before the midterms? Nothing. He wasn't wanted anywhere. He wasn't needed anywhere. Last week, he was campaigning in California, Colorado, and Oregon. Now, if Democrats need help in Oregon, they're in trouble. What was he doing in Portland? Well, he didn't go to an injection site. He went to an ice cream shop. Watch.
Are you concerned about the strength of the dollar right now?
I'm not concerned about the strength of the dollar. I'm concerned about the rest of the world. Does that make sense?
Can you explain that?
Yes. Our economy is strong as hell. The internals of it. Inflation is worldwide. It's worse off everywhere else than it is in the United States.
A man should never lick an ice cream cone in public. A man can only eat ice cream on vacation. I guess Biden's always on vacation, so it makes sense. But if a man needs to eat ice cream in public, he should scoop it out of a bowl with a spoon. The President of the United States licking things, especially ice cream, is childish. It's frivolous, and it's too casual a look for the country. Biden's brain freeze will live in infamy. Just like Bush gave up golf after 9/11, Biden should give up ice cream after the recession. You're not at a birthday party, Joe. And the same goes for Chuck Schumer, who was dancing like he was on solid gold. The majority leader is about to be the minority leader. What are you doing dancing like that for? What are you celebrating? There's a crime wave, and people can't afford to buy gas, groceries, or houses. It was Schumer's legislation that supercharged inflation, remember?
18 months ago, when the president took office, inflation and gas prices started rising.
Well, 18 months ago, the president signed the American Rescue Plan more than about back in April of 2021, and that helped the American people.
Did she just confess that the Democrats juiced the dollar with the $2 trillion American Rescue Plan? You know, inflation started going up at this time. Oh, that's exactly when we passed the American Rescue Plan. And what did the American Rescue Plan rescue us from? Prosperity? Gosh, I can't wait for the Inflation Reduction Act to kick in any day now. How does that work again?
The same way with what's in the Inflation Reduction Act has to do with your ability to be able to get tax credits for buying. If you need a new coffee machine, a new washer, a new refrigerator, you buy an efficient refrigerator, efficient coffee machine, you get a tax credit for it. Costs you less money.
Biden spent $1 trillion to give us tax credits for coffee machines. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Was anybody asking for coffee machine tax credits? We were asking for safe streets, secure borders, cheap gas, not coffee machine tax credits. Their midterm message is coffee machine tax credits. That's a pretty good sign they're going to get killed. The Democrats are lying and hiding before this election so badly. Biden tells you inflation's zero. And then he blames the guy who owns the gas station at the corner, Lenny, for price gouging. They impeached Trump for withholding aid to Ukraine in exchange for a political favor, then threatened to withhold aid to Saudi Arabia in exchange for a political favor. They call you racist for flying migrants to the vineyard, then fly migrants to Manhattan in the middle of the night. They say crime's under control, then hire private security for themselves. They don't want you asking candidates if they're mentally fit. And if you ask about Ukraine, you're a traitor. Democrats are doing anything they can to not talk about the issues, and that's because they cause the issues that they don't want you to talk about. And it's the exact reason Democrats are getting crushed. They spent the last year and a half talking about January 6th. Where do you think that ranks among voters' top issues? Top 3, top 5, top 10? No. It's 19th, according to a Harvard poll. 19th. The top 3 issues Americans care about: inflation, economy, immigration. What do all the Democrats talk about? January 6th, climate change, coffee machine tax credits, and abortion. How do you know when a team doesn't want to play you? When they won't even take the field.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.